עוד לא? אוקיי, נהדר. Good morning, Amir. How are you?
Hi, Yahli. I'm fine. Thank you. After a Friday morning run, feeling great. And
Wow.
Thank you for the invitation. Happy to be here.
Wow. Thank you. Me too. What was the distance that you ran this morning?
I think it's not a lot. Usually it's like 6 kilometers, like 5 miles, 50 minutes, something like that.
Okay.
But we should do this small. Every time you wake up early and you say, now to go out in the winter, Israeli winter. But it's always the same. After you do it, you're so happy.
It's always the same dilemma, whether to do the right thing or the comfortable thing, or the convenient thing. I think that's it. Yeah.
It means that some things we can only judge and evaluate looking backwards.
Backwards.
Because looking forward, you want to stay in the bed.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, I'm an early bird, so the last week I started every day at 3:30 in the morning. So, it's for me. So there you go. But I relate to what you're saying in the usual day. Yeah, I also prefer to stay a little bit in bed. So I'm very excited to be with you.
Same here.
For our audience, I think that you should know that I only got to know Amir like a few months ago when we worked on the summit, right? On the education summit, it was, yeah. So I got the, I must tell, people know me, so he has such a positive energy and he's such a positive person. And besides that, he is a deep thinker. And I think I'm sorry, I'm saying what I believe in. So I think he's not only that he's runner, but he's, in his mind is, I think, I would say a long distance runner. Mm-hmm. And he adopts the long view regarding everything that he does. And he's an expert on education. And he's researching education technology, and he's lecturing in the Israeli Academic College in Migran, but also he's managing the AR, the Artificial Intelligence Lab, in the R&D unit of the Ministry of Education in Israel. So it's I understand why you wish to stay a little bit longer in bed, because you probably hardly sleep with all the things that you're doing. So Amir, before we jump in, I want to understand, what was your personal, journey? How did you get to, doing such interesting and I would say disruptive things? AI on one's hand and education. Yeah. Tell us about you and your
actually easier, and if we will go for a 2-stance psychology. So I had a father, my father, now that they're both retired, both my parents, he worked for IBM. My mother was a literature teacher.
Wow.
And there you go. There you see the combination, the mix-up between technology and education. So it's comes in the DNA.
Wow. I mean, like your father half of it and your mother half of it.
Exactly. So I took the good of both worlds. I think really that's what influences me. So all the area of really technology coming from my father, working in IBMs, implementing he did one of the first projects to implement ATMs in Israel, where they had to put people outside the bank to convince them to, use the ATM.
Take money from the wall. Yeah.
Instead of saying money from the wall, instead of standing in line. And for my mother, the education, the looking on society, she thought literature. So that's
which is the deepest one.
So this word, and so it was a natural mix. It was not always mixed together. Many years I worked for Amdocs, doing business development, alliances, and the education part. I was, a very involved parent, especially in escorting the kids' field trips and in the youth movement, in the Israeli Scouts, and so on. So I always like that. But I think, I think like 10 years ago, with the mid-40s, with the 40s crisis, instead of buying a red bike, and I don't know, and then having...
Or divorcing your beautiful wife, yeah.
20 tattoos, I decided to do a PhD.
Wow.
And again, on cyberbullying. So here you see the situation. It's the cyber field from one end, and then bullying, which is very relates to people and society and education. And education on the other. And I think from there, really, this is the what we call the butterfly effect. So
may I say that it's
following the PhD, this is where I get closer to social initiatives. The first one was working in the founding team of what we call the Israeli National Bureau for Cyberbullying Prevention, the 105 Moked 105 hotline. So I had the privilege to work on its initiation and then managing the prevention area. And then moving back to the Ministry of Education to run this AI lab. So really, I think if I summarize my positioning, it's within the technology. And when I feel good, I talk about the good things, about technologies and the promises and the opportunities, and there's tremendous opportunities. And when I'd like or feel different, I can also speak into the complexities and the risk areas and the things which are less bright and pink around it. So I'm really happy from this position where I understand technology deeply and then can relate to different aspects of it.
I think what is also beautiful regarding you is that you have the ability for polarity thinking, meaning, holding opposite
exactly.
attitudes at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think it's very, very rare. Why are you smiling?
Because as a child, I always was fascinated by trying to mix water and oil, which they cannot mix. But I was pouring oil to water and water to oil, and it was fascinating me from a very young age. So I think this is something that goes with me whenever I see things that not necessarily connects or relates or looks the opposite things. These are areas where I love to be and research and to study. I like those opposites.
Yeah. How can you find a new meaning looking at opposite sides together?
Exactly.
I think, if I may say that from young age you understood, I think, the complexity of the world, that nothing is. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. Yeah, I agree. It's on one end, it's complexity. We're not on a philosophical talk about life, but I think on the other, life are less serious than what we being taught and read. It's an event. Life, it's definitely an event. It's a temporary event, obviously. So we need to enjoy this ride.
For now, we're hoping to live 300 years, so please.
Yeah, for now. We need, and we would live forever in the metaverse.
Yeah.
But let's take things in ourselves also in the right proportions. I think it's also important.
I think that's beautiful. So and how was emotionally, if I may ask, the moving from, Amdocs, which is a large company doing, business development, certain arenas, certain kind of emotions, relationships, rewards. Right. How many years you were in the
government to a government position?
Wow.
So again, it's this part of me that wants to collect experiences and work on the high-tech public sector and moving on private sector, and moving on to the government public sector, and trying to mix this water and oil. So bringing, so what I do in the Ministry of Education, managing an AI lab, in effect, I see all the skills and the knowledge that I gain in MDocs, which in business development and alliances. So even today, what I'm doing is I'm scouting, looking for AI technologies in the area of education technologies. Then I also scout for schools who wants to experience in this innovation, and I matchmake between the two. To me, it's the same business development. I mean, it's the same, looking for the win-win, looking for the value proposition. What's the difference? And people are asking, well, how can you transition from MDocs to Ministry of Education? I don't know. It's easy for me. It's not such a change. I mean,
wow.
At the end, it's people. At the end, there's tasks. You want to succeed in what you do. There's always internal politics, both in the Ministry of Education, and you will not be surprised also in MDocs. Is so. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's beautiful. Yeah. May I ask you? I speak with people, and there are many definitions of education, especially at this era. What for you is the deepest meaning, the deepest impact of education? Can you elaborate? I think you have a very interesting view about that, and I think we should share that. We should share that, yeah.
I think it's a good question. I think we are transitioning from education as being originally knowledge transfer. So I know everything. You are my student. Now you sit down and I will teach you.
Yeah.
And it is now transitioning into facilitating learning, motivation, and curiosity. I don't need to teach anymore. And I'm lecturing. I'm working also in the academic area. I view myself as a facilitator and someone who encourage and generate curiosity, and the learning would happen by itself. So it's a big change. I don't need to be the smartest or the most knowledgeable person in the classroom anymore. I just need to understand the people, the motivation, and to guide them on their own mission to learn something.
It might be even the opposite, that you have to be the clueless one in order to assist everybody. You know what Kevin Cayley is saying? Probably Kevin Cayley. And he says that the more we know, our ignorance is bigger.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I think it's brilliant, right? So because then you still have everything is wide open, and you can, relearn and So can you tell us before we jump in? I want to jump into the next, but who is the most influential person in your life, in the literature you read regarding? I mean, who, if you have to, I would say, if you can, either raising from the dead or whatever.
Yeah.
Speak to them about education.
I would. I would go for the near future figure. I would say first, I must give credit to Elon Musk as an inspiration, with all the complexities and the way he treats people and human resources. To me, is still, one of the most inspiring, living people today. And before him, I would say Steve Jobs. Also, lots of inspiration. And from the education, I would jump way back to like Janusz Korczak, saying you need to. How he said, "Chanoch lanar al pi darko."
Can you explain? I'm not sure that everybody knows. I mean, Elon Musk, everybody knows, but I think Janusz Korczak.
So now we are, passing back to this, Jewish educator from, I don't know, more than 100 years ago. But he, in his educational theory, said he talked about personalization before this word existed. You need to provide education which is fitted to your students' habits and way of life. Wow. and skills. So you need to say in Hebrew, it says Chanoch Lanar. And I think this is something that now, if in his days it was a perception and an understanding, am I going to do teaching and learning, now that the technology is actually coming and helping us exactly with that, to understand who is the students in front of us, and let's give him an adaptive, personalized learning path according to his goals. So his philosophical vision became a product feature in AI for education.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's very interesting because you're taking Elon Musk in the sense that, you know, he's a first principle thinking leader and so forth. And also, I think, Janusz Korczak, which is extremely humanistic.
Yes.
This is what you're saying. I think it's like the heart and the mind. This is what. Tell me.
Could be, yeah. I mean, yeah. I agree. It sounds logic, yeah.
Okay. So now I want to talk about, if it's okay with you, of course, to start to understand from your perspective about this new world, this new continent that is now raising, you know, and being built in front of our eyes, the metaverse or Web3. First of all, how do you call it between yourself? When you speak to yourself, you speak on Web3 or metaverse? How do you
I call it metaverse. And you know, I'm looking on my background picture in this Zoom session. I didn't selected it for today meeting, especially, but I think when you describe, I see just behind me, you see like something that can be a whole new world. You see it's empty. We still see just and now we can really create it. So I think really, what we call as the metaverse. Also, we have an opportunity to really to create a new world, digital world and not always we get such an opportunity, and I hope we will do it wisely. And we will bring into the metaverse, we'll try to bring the good things that we as humans developed so far and try to stay away from the bad things. I know it's very naive, but I think it's worth the effort.
May I ask, I think, Amir, not everybody really understands what is the metaverse, or I think they have this vague idea what it is. But can you take to ask the layman man? Can you explain to us what is it?
It's so basically, first of all, we need to. I view it as a concept. It's a technology. Okay.
Really? Okay.
Metaverse is more to me as a concept. Of course, there's like plenty of underlying technologies if you open under the hood of the metaverse. But the metaverse by itself, first of all, it's created from the term meta and universe, whereas meta is about something which is beyond. Okay, if we try to translate meta, it's an addition. It's the thing that it's beyond. If we were looking back to IT and computer science, we talked about back then on metadata. So we have the data, and that's the data that's come above and beyond. And universe, okay, it's the word. And metaverse, the combination of the two, it's the world beyond. Both of us were in this panel, we call it in Hebrew, al olam. It's like beyond the world, or we still don't have good term in Hebrew, but the metaverse really represent something which is beyond the physical world, and I would even say beyond the web environment that we are currently experiencing, and how this is actually beyond, because we are moving into a 3D environment. So in this Zoom meeting, we have two screens in 2D. In the metaverse, this session in a metaverse environment, of course, we would have both of us sitting in this office of yours with our avatars, and we see our full body where we can see it from a 3D. It's as close as possible as if we were really sitting in your office, and we are interacting, in a very similar way to environment as in the physical world. So really, the metaverse is the, I would say, the next phase of the internet as we know it, which is becoming, thanks to 3D, to virtual reality, augmented realities. These are the underlying technologies for AR and for the avatars who are representing us in this world. It's really becoming a complete world experience. That's it.
Do you think that as if we are creating a new kind of reality?
Yes, it's a new kind of reality because the opportunities in a digital environment, you can be whomever you are. You can transform, size, shape, color, gender, whatever. I mean, it's so yes, it's different. You can teleport instantly from work to the beach to coffee shop. So it's a different world. It has different characteristics, different features that are not possible in our physical world. So yes, certainly it's a different world.
Interesting.
And,
wow.
And we would, the idea is that this new world, metaverse world, would try to offer us as many life activities as possible, meaning working, learning, playing, dating, buying. I would say everything except sleeping and eating. That there will be an eating. It will be virtual eating and also virtual sleeping. But outside, eating and sleeping, we still need this as a biological creatures. The promise is that you can do everything in the metaverse, and then it becomes your choice how much time you want to spend there, or you still want to get out of your virtual world, your glasses, and meet some really people. But potentially you can sit there all day long.
Do you think, what the thought that I got when you were speaking, is if our imagination is going to get new wings. This is what I felt. Because in this new virtual world, nothing is impossible.
Right.
You say it's not only me changing, in characters and personalities. It's that I can change the world around me. I can suddenly live on the moon or Mars, or I can jump from here to Mars in a second. I mean, they have to fly, I don't know, 3 years. I can do it.
From here to Mars, and from here to ancient Rome, and from here to dinosaurs world, and from here, so you can move in time back and forth and live in whatever period you wish to live. And it's endless. It's like a dream. Think of it, it's like a dream. In your dreams, you can go to sleep tonight and you would live in, I don't know, in the Asian world, or you would live. So it's a dream come true right in front of your eyes. Yeah.
Do you think that because of the fact that we can dream while we are awake, because this is what you're really saying, I think we're going to be happier? I'm sorry, I'm asking you some philosophical question, but I know we have to talk about.
I think if you would interview psychiatrists, and if you'd go and try to get God forbid, and if you try to get an appointment with a psychiatrist, public psychiatrist, these days you need to wait 6 months in line. So, it's really hard to do a direct correlation between the technology transformation and what happens to us as human beings. But through the consumptions of psychiatric services, of drugs, psychiatric drugs, all those, I think that for many of us human beings, these changes are too fast. We find it hard, many people find it hard to keep up with the pace, and they are becoming stressful, and there's an increase in depression, and there's an increase in loneliness, and God forbid, suicide rates, also in kids, by the way. So alongside these tremendous technologies development from a human spirit, human happiness, we are not in a good thing right now. Again, maybe it's the same as before, but now people are more aware and they are more reporting about
No. I think it's
mental condition. It could be one explanation that it's more okay and legitimate to expose your mental difficulties, but regardless, there's a huge
there is a lot of suffering, yeah. So now I was wondering, before going into the education, do you think that the fact that we have this ability to go into the metaverse, you think it can be, I wouldn't say a virtual medicine, okay, I wouldn't go that far, but can it be a place when either I escape to in order to rest a little bit or to recharge or to experience things that if I'm afraid to experience in real life, so I can experience there without the damage and without the risk, and then go? How do you see this?
Absolutely. In this world, okay, think of it about like a world, and you would have places to rest and to meditate and to hike and to travel. So all the activities would be very accessible for you. You just need to choose in this huge world where do you want to be. So yes, you can, there's going to be a lot of choices over there.
And you talked about loneliness, so might it be that if I'm lonely in real life because I'm a little bit different, people don't understand me, or I'm a little bit chubby, or I'm a little bit small when the children in my class are all they grew up, they became much stronger, and I'm just I'm behind, I'm lagging behind in my, I would say, physical development. You think this can be a place for me to find a new source, first of all, of friends, of self-esteem, self-confidence? How do you look at this?
Absolutely. The basic psychological needs of kids in their development, which is to develop their own personalities through experiences. How you and I grew up, we interacted. We have the initial DNA that we came from this world. So let's say this is like 50%. And then the other 50% is where we grew up, our families, our parents, the kids, the school, and within this environment, there's like a trial and error process where we try something and our friends and the society tell us this is nice, this is not nice. We receive feedback from our life, and this is how we develop our personality. Same thing. Those needs are still there. So if we think about everyone who learns education learns about first year about the Maslow hierarchy. It's not changing. But it gets answers and within a digital world, but the activities are still the same activities. So if I'm looking for some meaning, if I want to be an activist about something, if I'm concerned about whatever global warming or whatever, it would actually be easier. Think about, I don't know, a kid, growing up in some small, isolated, village. Island. So there's like 20 kids in his age around that. That's it. That's his world, and for good and bad. And now it's limitless. Okay, so I'm no longer confined to those 20 kids that I grew up with in a kibbutz or what. Now it's it's open, and I can be. There's a mirror of the physical world, and there will be an mirror of the digital world. Not necessarily they would be 100% identical. I would say, of course, it's also create complexities to maintain different identities. Okay?
And what do you think about that? Because children are in a process of becoming. I mean, yesterday I was in a meeting, and I was with there is another, you should know, a very close friend of mine, and I'm working with him. His name is Dr. Amir Shefer, and he's a psychologist.
Okay.
But he's also highly interested in neurology, in the neurological development, and we talked about the fact. We were in a meeting, and he talked about the fact that the real process of finalizing the growth and maturing of the brain is only about the age of 25, 26, 27. So what I'm saying, we're taking these children that are in the process of becoming, and we are unleashing in front of their eyes this enormous openness and vast of opportunities. But still, they are not yet defined. I mean, you didn't finish, the process of attachment separation and individualistics, creating their own individualistic character and self-image. How do you tackle that, in the sense that are they really prepared? Will they be able to grasp the goodness of it? And what is your take on that?
I think, it's regardless of what we think of it, that's their reality. As you said, it's like a swimming pool. We throw them into the water, and they need to start swimming. And if they are not well prepared, they would swallow some water or salty water. It's not a pleasant experience, but eventually, this is the world which they are born. So, unlike you and me, that we immigrant into this area, that they are born into this. So that's, I think for children, they don't separate between the physical world and the digital world as we do. Say, okay, this is happening on the physical, and this is happening on the. For them, they live single life. Maybe they are in a better situation than they don't see. And in this life, there's physical aspects and the digital aspects, and it is what it is. And this
it's entangled. It's entangled.
They need to manage now. This comes to what's our role as parents and as teachers. It's really to make them aware, about the opportunities. We cannot live instead of them, but at least make them aware about the opportunities and the risks. Same as we are doing in the physical world. We take them to teach them how to cross the road. And we say,
or give them a cell phone. You give them a cell phone, and that it's
the cell phone created a challenge, because when we were, every parent at some point would invest a lot of time in teaching his kids how to cross the road. You need to look right, and you need to look left and see the cars. And even if they look distance, it's hard to estimate how fast they approach you, so you better wait. And there's a lot of knowledge and experience when we are taking our kids to teach them to cross the road. However, in the digital world, even today, we buy them at the age of 6, 7, 8, whatever. We buy them a smartphone and we just give it to them without any guidance, without any explanation, and we throw them into this swimming pool without any swimming lesson, and we hope for the good. This was one of the things that I experienced when, as I said, I was one of a member in the team that created the cyberbullying prevention. There's like, this hotline is getting 1,000 events every month. Wow. About kids who are being hurt strongly and severely, okay, wow. Online.
We will talk about it in the next discussion we have. We're going to do the rest of what I'm saying.
And a lot of it, those kids were thrown into a swimming pool without any guidance, without any boundary, and you know, and they get into problems.
May I ask a question, a personal question for a second?
Yes.
If you had the opportunity to be reborn now, and to be now like 6 or 7 or 8 years old, what would you have chosen? I mean, would you have chosen to be born like, you know, I don't know, 60s, 70s, or be born now to this world? It's okay. It's okay that I'm asking such a question.
It depends on you know, some days, you know, I also think that this is too much, too fast, and I envy about those people, I mean, living 500 years ago in a village, and then you go and do some agriculture and everything, and you are, you know, when it's dark outside, you go to sleep, and when the sun rises, you go to work, and there's like a small community around it, and there's something very nostalgic and very romantic. Even
I would say very romantic, because you know you had that.
So that's you know, some of the days, and some of the days I really would love to teleport myself, you know, 1,000 years ago, forward, and see all those robots and all those environments, and to see are we really heading into like a Matrix vision when people would just be, I don't know, like you know. Sitting like in those incubators, as we saw in the Matrix movie, or maybe at some point there is going to be some resistance, some revolution. We would push more and more and more technologies on people, and maybe at some point some people would say, enough with that. Okay, we that's it. We are not playing this game anymore.
You know what I'm thinking? When I mean, my association is that, you know, the first day that the first night that they put on electricity in the streets in Champs-Élysées in Paris.
Yeah.
So people went out and they smashed them because they said that we are taking away the soul of the night.
Yeah, it's. I think we experience this now. There's a lot of. You know, many people are scared and concerned from these technologies, and not only by technology by itself, but by this expedited, exponential growth and change. It's. I mean, some people can barely understand how fax is working, and now they need to get into the metaverse. Especially the old people, you know, that they are miserable. They are unable to schedule an appointment with their doctors anymore, or to pick up something in the post office, because it all needs to work on, or do it on the app, on the smartphone. Not all of them are, you know, digital literate enough.
Yeah, that's a very important question. How we don't leave, how do we don't leave anyone behind? Yeah. So how do you see, what is your positive vision? You're optimistic, or how, Kevin Kaling is saying he's not an optimistic, but he believes in Futopia, meaning stepped up. What is your positive or optimistic view on education in the metaverse, or any kind of combination you can think of?
It's the option to really think, as children, we are always occupied. What is it that we want to be when we will be grown-ups? And we have those dreams, and we are being asked by our parents, and מה תרצה לעשות כשתהיה גדול? Okay, and of course, at some point, it's initially everyone wants to be firefighters or whatever, then, or astronauts and doctors or whatever, or car racing. What's nice about the metaverse world of education is that once we chose something, we can really start and being offered a learning path that would gives us the knowledge and the skills to take us to this target. And if we change the target, but it would be tailor-made, it would be adaptive and it would try to make sure that we will succeed, and if not, then we can change the vision. It's something that in a classroom with 34 kids and the teacher needs to one size fit all, or one size fit as many as possible. I think that every teacher knows that when he delivers something, so he try, let's say out of 34, if it's effective for 20 or 25, great. But if it's effective to 24, now you know that there's like 10 more kids, maybe 5 of them can be more advanced, 5 of them are lagging behind. But it's really hard as an educator, as a teacher, to give this personal guidance. And
so you think in a sense that the metaverse is going to be the real assistant that the teachers need? Like an enhancing, tool for them?
Absolutely. I think that would always be a need for this, I hope, this human interaction. You still need, to see a person, an adult person.
This is what my association, when you said, you can live in the metaverse, but beside eating and drinking, and I thought, what about kissing someone? You see your child, you don't only want to see him in the web, you want to cuddle him, you want to hug him, or it's.
Yeah, so that it's, and you want to give him some general guidance and boundaries, and maybe some cautious rules, same as we're
cautionary tales.
But then let them be whatever they want to be. I also believe in that, again, it goes philosophical. I'm not trying to, even with my own kids, I don't think that I believe that I have the light knowing what is good and what is. I think that I really, if they are happy with what they do and what they learn, so I'm happy with them and for them, and I'm not trying to push them to be doctors or lawyers or high-tech, whatever. They can be whatever they feel that is rewarding them, and they love it, and it takes the potential out of them. And I think that's meaning that it's a parenting style, and maybe also education style, to say, I don't have all the knowledge and I don't know what is good. I can barely say what is good for me. Okay.
So what do you think today educators or parents, at this stage, first of all, where do you see the metaverse? Where do you see it is on a progression trajectory? Are we in the beginning? Let's talk about, the metaphor of a child. Are we before birth, after birth? Where is the metaverse right now on the timeline in your perception?
We are in the early stages. I think we can say the metaverse is already here around us. The things that are closest, to this vision right now, as we speak, are those video games environments such as Fortnite, such as Minecraft, such as Roblox. Just between those three, Minecraft, Fortnite, and Roblox, because they provide a digital world. And within that, you are creating things, and you have your avatar there. It's something, although it's in 2D, it gives some notions of this new world, of the metaverse world. And right now we have 500 million people globally using those three platforms that I mentioned. So it's there. But it's the beginning. And it's still being treated as a game, like as a video game, and that's okay. I think that gaming it has its value, and slowly we would see it transitioning from gaming into the business world, into the healthcare world, into the education world. Education is not, I would say, into learning and then education. I think that there's big opportunities. We would see a lot of development around the learning because of the simulation capabilities of this metaverse. You can really teach doctors, they can get inside your heart and out and all those things. On our panel, there was a heart surgeon talking about those training. I think usually with technology, education usually is coming a little bit behind after the commercial world, after banking and insurance companies and whatever.
Why is it? Why education is a laggard in this sense?
I think
or a late majority? I mean, late adapter.
I think, and it's not maybe a bad thing that it's a huge system that takes it time to adapt, change, the technological change. I mean, in life, we think about all the government services around us. You can live entire life without going to a court, or without going to a welfare office, or without going to many. But the one service that still you would always consume is the education system, the education service. And I think with this power also comes responsibility, and I'm not actually concerned that it's moving and changing. Maybe yes, we can expedite it a bit. I think we all feel that it needs to transform a bit, but on one hand, because we're still in 2022, and you said that the world is changing. Schools have not changed that much or enough, but on the other hand, in this crazy pace of maybe a place where it's going a bit slower. I don't think it's, it's bad, but
we have to adapt, and it's hard. Yeah,
the gap for the kids, the things that they do at home on their computers, on their Oculus, on their VR, and sometimes they go in the morning to school, and it looks like that they move 100 years back.
200 years back, yeah.
And for some kids, it's difficult.
Edie Weiner is talking about it, that we're giving, the children toys and, they have the cell phone when they're here, and then we send them to school. So she says, this is why we have so many children we take them, they're so used to speed, and now we take, but I want to, can I challenge you? Okay, I have a challenging, a topic. Okay.
Yes, you can do everything. It's
no.
We have our coffee here.
Okay. We were talking about, I'm sorry, I have a problem with the metaverse. I keep using web, but anyway, Web3. Anyway, metaverse and AI, the relationship between them. And I want to put on the table something that Sam Altman, the head of
AI. I would add him now next to Elon Musk.
Okay, he is great. Yeah. I adore him. He's Jewish. I'm sorry. Us the Jewish, we're always looking for Jewish people. And he said something that he was asked, I think, in a conference, or I think he had a very interesting talk on TEDx, like an hour talk, like 3 or 4 months ago. And he was asked about the relationship between AI and Web3, metaverse. And he said, and I want to pick your brain on it on 2 levels. I mean, I have a question with 2 parts. So first of all, I want to quote him. He says, for me, I believe metaverse is going to be a content or a platform on which AI is going to perform. And he said, the ability of the metaverse to progress and to, I would say, grasp or get to its fullest potential depends on its ability to be a very good platform for AI. Mm-hmm. So I want to first of all understand, how do you see the relationship between Web3 and AI? And I think we both think that AI is the strongest tool ever humanity ever created. And how is it going to perform, or how are we going to use the combination within, our interest to educate or to teach the children? So this is a 2-part question. Yeah.
So
if it's too heavy, I'm sorry. It's morning. I have too much energy in the morning.
That's okay. It's excellent. So we said at the beginning of our conversation that metaverse is a concept. Okay, it's like it's a concept. It's not a technology. AI. It's one of the key fundamental technologies within the metaverse. So first of all, we need to realize there's no competition between the two. So within the metaverse world, or this metaverse concept, which is a digital world, there's going to be a vast deployment of AI. And if we say, okay, so what we are doing with this AI, so let's say that now it's, I don't know, like 10 p.m. at night, and Yahli is already tired, but there's an interesting lecture by Elon Musk in some room in California, in the metaverse, but you want to go to sleep. It's 10
Of course,
p.m.
you know me, 10 o'clock is my time, yeah?
Exactly. So you ask Yahli, the avatar, you don't need to ask politely, they are very disciplined, to say, would you mind going into this 3-hour talk of Elon Musk in San Francisco now? I need to go to sleep. I will meet you in the morning, and you will tell me what were the interesting things in this talk. And you go to sleep, and your avatar go to meet Elon Musk, and then you meet up again in the morning and say, okay, how was the lecture? It was great. What are the key takeaways? And this avatar of yours would give you the key takeaways that are relevant for you, because he knows you better than you know yourself, better than your parents or your husband knows you. And this is how AI can, it's just one example, okay? That can, or if you say, you know what I need now, just a couple of days ago, the OpenAI.
That's what I say about what do you put it on the table and check that. Can you talk about chat? Yeah, chat. Can you first of all explain to people, because yesterday I was in a meeting, people don't really know. Can you explain what it is? Because I think it's going to disrupt the homework.
Yeah, exactly. It's going. Now, what's nice about ChatGPT, of course, it's a language engine that is the successor of GPT-3, and now it's a chatbot. Okay, you interact with it, and you can ask anything. Okay, you can ask. We talked about Elon Musk, and he said you can ask ChatGPT, can you give me one-page summary biography about Elon Musk? And you will get a one-page. Now, it's not about Google Elon Musk and getting links to different places. Like Google would send you to his Wikipedia, to, I don't know, to the place on Tesla where they talk about it. I'm talking about, think about it's more like as you were looking for Elon Musk, you get traditionally Google, and then you start to pick information from here and there, and you create a one-page summary. This is now happening in ChatGPT.
And it's open to everybody, and it's for free, so everybody can use it.
Open for everyone.
I'm going to use it this week, and I have some things I need to learn.
Free and
did you check it?
What? I'm now needs to register. I tried to register. It was too slow and busy. The site, but I will do it.
Did you already? I also, because there is you should know there is a web of OpenAI, and I already know. And then you can also there to for the painting. How do you call it?
Yahli too.
Yeah, the DALL-E 2. So once you have your account with DALL-E 2,
yes.
you just go from there. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's really now for your comment about education. It changes the education. If today I'm asking a child to write a homework about World War II, and if he will copy paste to his paper from Wikipedia, I can detect it instantly and dismiss his homework. But now it's different. It's really an original piece of, I will not be able to tell that this was created by GPT, because, and there will not be two papers in my classroom. Even if all the kids are using GPT, every paper will be different.
Wow.
Because the prompt is always a little bit different. And I would not be able to tell. It's an original piece of work. Okay, it's not a copy-paste from a document. This is the huge change. GPT is really doing what, taking various sources and summarize them.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we have to finish. I mean, we were supposed to finish already, but if I'm a parent and I have a child who is now 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, what should I do? Can we give our listeners?
There's only one thing you need to teach your child, maybe two things. One, to be curious, and the other one is to be tolerant and adaptive to fast changes. I think
and brave.
You don't need to, technologies, it's changing so fast. You cannot teach it. You just need to teach them the notion that things are changing fast and moving very fast, and it doesn't need to be nervous or afraid of rapid changes, because this is the one thing that is happening for sure. And the rest is just giving the boundaries of good and bad.
Okay.
Very general and see them grow there. Yeah.
Okay. That's brilliant. Amir, we already scheduled another meeting. I think we'll need another one, if I may say.
Yes.
Because it's okay, brilliant. So any last comments you want to say to our audience, to our listeners?
I would say don't be afraid of that. There's sometimes that there's this term of moral panic. Don't, on one hand, don't get concerned yet that the world is going, the world is doomed and we are all doomed and then it's going to we are all going to hell.
The dystopian, yes, scenarios, yes.
On one hand. But on the other hand, be awake, okay? Don't just go eye-blinded into those things. Look on them, judge them, see where you can sell. I mean, be proactive. Don't just sit there passive. Don't be afraid on one hand, but then be proactive because not all of it is good. Not all of it is good for your child. So apply some criticism. Some healthy criticism. And enjoy the ride. We say it's we get in this world, you know, one ride. Let's you know, everything will be okay. Enjoy.
I knew you wrote papers and that you have talks. And if people want to reach you or you know learn more about your work, how can they do that?
I don't know, they reach somehow, they get to me. I didn't build a website or whatever, but I think they will find me and they can reach me. And I like to be reached and to interact. And this is how I learn from interactions with interesting people like yourself.
Thank you, you're too kind.
Thank you. Because through your questions, it's also learning experience. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And let's hope that I hope that we were interesting and contribute some new notions.
You were very interesting, that's for sure. You were very interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So okay. I wish you a lovely weekend and we'll talk soon.
Same from you, and whenever you would invite me, I'm coming.
I'm sure going to do that. It's my pleasure.
I'll be there.
I'll be delighted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.